The stem is the curved section of the hull, which forms the bow of the boat. It is made of two parts: the inner stem, to which the planking will attach and therefore is structural, and the outer stem, which lays on top of the inner stem and the planking. Only the outer stem will be visible and define the shape of the finished hull in profile view. Later on in the build, the inner stem has to be shaped to accept the planking. My name is Christoph, and I'm building a 30-foot lobster boat from scratch. In the modern way of boat building, to accomplish a bent or curved piece, thin laminates are glued together and forced onto and around a mold that represents the desired shape. After the glue has cured, the result is a very strong and stable new shape. In the beginning I had to go back to the drawing board, which is of course the lofting floor. The shape of the stem is determined in the table of offsets. So it's simply a matter of finding the given coordinates on the grid and then connecting the dots with a batten. Checking the tension of the batten between the points is critical. If it shows a fair curve, the line is good to go. Next on the menu was preparing the stock materials, which included first resawing 1-inch thick boards and then planing them down to about 1/4 of an inch. But I'm getting ahead of myself. Before resawing, I had to rip the stock material to a narrower size. Unfortunately, I lost most of the video material of building the inner stem. The procedure of making the outer stem is very similar though. Instead of bending the laminates around fixtures, I used the finished inner stem itself as a template for the outer stem. It's all very complicated to describe, but you'll see just what I mean in a little bit. The glue that keeps the bent laminates in shape, so to speak, is epoxy. This stuff seeps deep into the fabric of the wood, the grain, and once cured makes a very strong and permanent bond. It's a chemical product though, so one has to be very cautious when using it. I always wear a face mask and gloves when handling epoxy. I also highly recommend safety goggles to protect your eyes. Other than that, it's pretty easy to work with. There are different kinds of products with different cure times for different applications and working conditions, like for example temperature. As you see, I first saturate the surface of each laminate with a very thin mixture of resin and hardener. After that, I mix in a kind of a filler to thicken the product up. The glue then is able to compensate for gaps between the laminates a lot easier. Also, the added fiber makes for an even stronger bond. As long as the saturating coat of epoxy is still sticky, I spread the thickened mixture evenly onto each surface. The stack of laminates, as it's growing, wants to slide around, so you'll have to secure it in place. As you'll see in a minute, I use a zip tie to do the job. After having applied all the glue, the stack is to be carried over to the mold. Now the difficult part is bending the whole stack of laminates around the mold and securing it with lots and lots of clamps. It seems there are always too few of them. It took every one of my 30-ish clamps to achieve the desired result. It's a real struggle, bending forces and the time to finish the job before the epoxy kicks in are against you. If you do it right, the finished piece is impressively strong. Thanks for watching, and join me next time when I take care of the opposite end of the hull, the transom.